You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here, though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
Whoa. What's up, ladies and gents? So, it has been a minute since I have done a podcast. It's probably been about 2-3 weeks, I think. And let me adjust this real quick. That's a little better. And if some of you don't know, it's because I ended up in the hospital again. Definitely not what I want to come on here and talk about, but I wanted to just kind of get out there, just kind of vent a little bit and kind of talk about what's been going on a little bit with me. And I don't know, it's interesting because I did a podcast about 4 weeks ago, and that podcast ended up being about health and wellness and eating right. And I think it would be hypocritical for me to not just come on here and kind of talk about what happened to me. But unfortunately, the disease I have is not 100% food related. They don't really know what causes Crohn's disease, and I have a very rare case. Usually when I have an incident, most people when they have an incident, they could take medication and bring down inflammation. But for some reason, me and what I have, my intestines are so scarred up that they just lock up on me. They close, so nothing goes in, nothing goes out, and my body reacts very, very aggressively. And I just I got to go to the hospital. There's no way around it. So I followed up with a specialist, and I'm kind of working on figuring out a couple solutions for it. But it's unfortunate. It's just one of those things that are kind of out of my control, and I think that's the kind of the hardest thing, to take. Ever since I went vegan, I feel better. I look better, and I haven't had as many episodes. And when I do have episodes, they're controllable. I kind of know what's going to go on and how it's going to happen. Because I know what I'm putting in my body. It's consistent. Back in the day when I was having episodes, it was like every few months I'd just be in massive amounts of pain and all that. So now instead of that, it's just once or twice a year, and it kind of happens. But if anybody out there is dealing with kind of a similar disease, the doctors that I talk to, and I've talked to a lot of specialists over the course of 5 years since I've been diagnosed with this, and they all pretty much tell me the same thing: as it's going to happen if it's going to happen. There's no rhyme or reason. You can eat like shit and it's going to happen. You can eat great and it's going to happen, or you can eat like shit and it's never going to happen. It's just, the disease is going to have a mind of its own, and it's going to happen when it's going to happen. That's what they keep saying to me. And I think that's probably the most frustrating part, right? Like, and if you know me in particular, that really annoys me because, my wife is, of course, going to text me when she hears this episode, because she's going to say, "Told you, I'm right." But I do like to have control in a lot of stuff, and not, especially with my, my career and my life and my daily routines and how I work out and how I eat. And, I listen to reason, and I listen to, I do my own research, but of course I listen to people that know what they're talking about, and I try to follow that. And I'm usually pretty good with it. But when it's out of my control, when there's nothing I could do to fix it or make it better, that's when, it's frustrating. And that's what this disease is. It's out of my control. It's very frustrating. And I think it's more frustrating that there's no cure for it. And there's no reasoning behind it. It's not hereditary. It's just every case is different. If like I have a buddy that actually has Crohn's also, a friend, and it's completely different, their symptoms. If you put us side by side and compare the two symptoms, you wouldn't think we have the same disease. It's just one of those rare things where we don't know a lot about it. So I think there's probably like multiple different diseases that it could branch off to, but they just don't have a reason to do that yet, I guess, because they don't have the research to back it up. So it's kind of one of those weird things. But anyway, I just kind of want to come out here and just vent and share some thoughts, because I haven't been on the podcast in a couple weeks. My last podcast was with a best-selling author, and he talked about plant-based diet and how healthy it is, and I told him in the episode that I haven't had an episode in a long time, and then a week later it fucking happened. So I don't know if it was just I jinxed myself, or I don't know what it was, but I'm still eating plant-based. I'm still eating vegan. Doctors said that could help with inflammation, because there's a lot of processed foods and a lot of meats out there that can cause inflammation, and they're tough to digest. So it's definitely the lesser of both evils, but unfortunately there's no dietary meal plan to follow when you have this disease. So I'm kind of going based off, even if I didn't have the disease, this is how I'm going to eat. I'm just going to keep eating how I eat, and especially because it's not helping. So like if someone called me tomorrow and said, hey, by the way, the cure for Crohn's disease is you eat the carnivore diet and you do meat all day, every day, 7 days a week, nothing but meat, I would do it. That's how much I care about my health. Obviously I care about, the cruelty in animals and helping the environment, and being vegan obviously is a big part of that. But I don't know. It's just it's frustrating, man. I just can't get over how stupid this disease is. I've been healthy pretty much as long as I can remember, eating as good as I can, and doing all the right things. I think exercising daily, and if you look it up, obviously exercising, and especially yoga, meditation, light to moderate exercise actually helps inflammation. Over exercise could cause inflammation. So, maybe that's it. Maybe I work out too much. That could be a factor. But I'm starting to realize, after all this research I've been doing and all the trial and error and all that, I'm starting to realize that I gotta calm down. I think a big part of what I'm dealing with is maybe it's stress. It's stress induced. I don't feel stressed. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I don't feel stressed. Like every day I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'm ready to go. I'll either I'll start doing some work, and then I'll go to the gym, and then I'll really work from 7 to 5, and then after 5 p.m. I'll do some cardio, maybe do a sauna, do some yoga. I don't do anything that I think stresses me. But then I was having a conversation, of course, with my wife and my parents, and they pretty much kind of opened up my eyes a little bit, I guess. I don't really realize it, but of course, I have this podcast that I do, which I love, and then I have a great job that I'm committed to. 5 days a week I go above and beyond. And then I have 2 houses. So I have this house, and then I rent out a home in Orlando. And I'm just trying to do a lot of stuff at once, and maybe I just have to calm down. But I was talking to my buddy Rich, and he's very similar with me, and I'm just not bred like that. I think I probably get that from my dad, and of course my mom's a workhorse too, and my whole family's just, I think, bred to work hard, But unfortunately, my family doesn't have this disease, and I think I have to get that through my head. That's what I had my eyes opened this last time, just because I thought I was doing everything right, and I realized maybe it's not things I'm doing, maybe it's things I'm thinking. Maybe it's the mind is such a powerful thing. It controls everything. Like, we don't think about it, but your brain up here controls your entire body. Blood flow, nerves, communication. If you have pain, if you have a cut, your brain is the one that sends that signal to let you know. If you stubbed your toe, it's the pain that goes up and lets you know. It travels. It's crazy. So, I don't know. I just think I have to get to the point where maybe we all need to get to this point. Maybe you guys can relate where I just got to slow down. Just be calm, be cool. Don't do too much at once. Focus on one thing, get it done, and then take your time, take a breather, and then do something else. That's going to be the one. I'm starting my New Year's resolution early, and that's it. I'm just going to be calm. I'm still going to do podcasts, but when I usually got off work at like 5 p.m. for my normal job, managing people and managing, doing presentations and being in front of large groups and speaking. And when I got done doing all that, I'd come back and either I would work out or I would hop right back on the Mac and I would do some work on the podcast. I'd create logos. I'd brand myself. I'd post on Facebook. I'd do everything on that. I'd do all the social media and everything on that. So, sometimes I would spend hours doing that. And I just got to calm down a little bit, I think. I'm still going to try to do at least one episode a week just because I like doing it. And I like getting out and talking to you guys and just kind of relieving a little stress that way. And it's not stressful on my body, obviously, because I'm just speaking. And I just like to talk. And, when I get off work and I wait for the wife, I like to talk. And there's no one here except you guys. So I'm still going to do that every week, I think. But I just got to calm down with the extracurricular stuff after work. And, work's exciting now. I got kind of came at a weird time because I was dealing with this episode I had. But I got promoted at work. So that's exciting. So there's a new chapter that I'm going to start reading in that book, and I can't wait. It's like my dream job. It's what it's what I've always wanted to do. So I'm definitely ready to go full swing in that, and I'm just going to commit to that. I'm going to commit to that 110%, just like I normally do. But if there's any extracurricular stuff that I need to do instead of doing other stuff, I'm just going to focus on that one thing, and then maybe weekends will be my podcast time until I grow this thing to where I want it to. Just let it grow organically and don't be in a rush to do it. I think that was the big thing was I was in a rush to do a lot of stuff. So, I wanted to get up to, instead of 100 subscribers, I wanted to get up to 500 subscribers like by 2020. I wanted to get up to 1,000 subscribers by 2020. So I just wanted to grow really quick, but I think I just got to relax and sit back and just know that it's out of my control and it's going to grow if it's going to grow. And, things are going to happen. That's it. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to try to not control every situation. That's the big thing. I'm sure the wife's going to love hearing that. But of course she wants me to pick where to go to dinner and stuff or what movie to watch. That I can control. I ask her to do that, and she doesn't pick a movie that she wants to watch. We just end up watching Friends anyway on Netflix. But anyway, I just want to get out there and I want to share some stuff with you guys and for everybody that sent out some best wishes. I'm doing good. I appreciate you. We're getting there. Getting my health back. I started going to the gym a little bit this week. Nothing crazy, just band training, some calisthenics, just kind of get my blood flowing a little bit. I lost like 15 pounds, so that's a little discouraging. But that's another thing too. I don't think from the research, I think this disease just won't allow me to get a certain size. I've noticed when I have an episode and then I go to, work out and I start increasing my caloric intake per day to like normal, right? Like 2,000, 2,500 calories a day. Once I start like adding more protein and protein shakes and stuff like that, and I start getting bigger and I start getting some mass, I realize like after a few months, I start having episodes. And maybe my body just can't, with this disease, it won't allow me to retain stuff. And that is hard to hear, of course, too. That's hard to hear because, there's a certain size that I wanted to be in my goals, and I was reaching them and I was getting there. But this thing just won't budge. It won't let me get there. So I'm just gonna have to stay lean and hopefully I can fix this thing one day. There's a couple options out there. There's some medication where they could inject me. It's like an intramuscular injection, just to see if the lining of my intestinal tissue will grow stronger, essentially. So there's a test for that, or excuse me, there's medication, and then they'll test to see if it worked, and if it worked, cool. I'll go through remission. If not, then we got to think about some surgery or something like that. They don't want to do surgery, but I think I kind of want to lean towards that. I'll know more in a couple weeks when I have some follow up, but I'm okay with just cutting it out, right, and sewing it back together. It's a tough recovery, but I don't know. I just think it'll work out better for everybody, mainly me. But I don't know. It could come back even worse. They said if they do that too. So I don't know. We'll see. But there is worse things to have out there. This is nothing. Don't think I think it's something. I know it's nothing. I know there's a lot more worse diseases out there. And I think the worst diseases are the ones you can't control, right? Like the ones that they give you medication and say cross your fingers. Like those are the tough ones to swallow, right? But if you have a headache, you take an aspirin, right? Easy. There's nothing for which that kind of blows. If there was something for it, I'd do it, no matter what it was. But everyone's giving me the whole, well, you could do this. It's worked for, 7% of the population. You could do that. It's worked for 12% of this population. But no one's like telling me, okay, this works. Eating this works. Doing this works. Meditation works. Everyone's just like trying to, shove meds down my throat. So, I don't know. We'll see. But if there's any suggestions out there, if you guys know anybody that's dealing with it, it'd be cool. Have them reach out to me. Have them shoot me a DM, or, if you know my phone number, shoot me a text. But we'll deal with it. I'm not too worried about it. I used to be worried about it. That was another thing. Maybe I was too worried about it. That's one thing I was thinking about when it comes to stress, right? Where maybe I was thinking, like every time I go out to dinner, I'm thinking too much about what to eat. So I like psych myself out, and then I get stressed out about that subconsciously. I don't feel stressed about it, but maybe like in the back of my head, I'm like stressing out about it. So then that causes like, inflammation, and I'm stressed out and my body tenses up, and that could be it too. So maybe I just got to go, live my life and just pretend this thing doesn't exist. And maybe that'll help. So I'm going to try this stuff out. We're going to see. But I know this probably wasn't an interesting podcast for a lot of you, but those who stuck it out, those who stuck it out, I appreciate you. I just needed an event. I needed to just get out and talk about it. I feel bad putting my wife through all this stuff because, it sucks for her, I'm sure. But, she's great, taking care of me and all that. And, worrying family and worrying friends. So that part kind of sucks. So I appreciate, everybody that helped out. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the love. And the next episode will be definitely more exciting, I promise. So, peace.